Hello guys, my name is Philip and I'm on day 53 right now. And as this is a NoFap video, you will probably think that this is another video talking about how porn is degrading on women and all that, but in fact it's not. I'm gonna talk about an experience that I had yesterday night. It was a sort of epiphany, I guess, or a drastic change in the way I look at women's sexuality, I guess, and just their sexual choices in general. Because I was out drinking with a colleague, it's a waitress apprentice actually, and I went out with her and her roommate and another guy. Now, I've for quite a long time been a bit keen on her. I haven't been in love at all, but I've been, a bit keen on her. But after yesterday night, I got so turned off, it made me throw up, and I'm not even kidding, it made me throw up. Because there was this one thing that she said that absolutely turned me off so much. Or she didn't really say all of it, but here's the thing, okay. So, she and her roommate, they really know each other very well. They share everything. So, she was talking about this guy that she had had sex with because she had... Okay, so already at this point it's really slutty already. So she had lost her keys to her apartment, so she had to crash on a friend's apartment, and then obviously she fucked him because they were in the same bed, so why not? Even though she only said negative things about her, about him, and that's just another thing, just a sort of side note. It just turns me off when women say so many negative things about a guy that they've slept with. It's like, why do you fuck these guys that you hate? So, she only said that, he was such a nerd and he was such a this and that fucking... I can't remember exactly what she said, but she only said negative things about him. And then she said, at the end we did it. Oops. And then her roommate, in this conversation that I was in, she told her that, well, okay, I'm gonna come up with a fake name for her. Let's call her Janice, alright? Janice, you haven't had your period yet. You might be pregnant. And she was like, oh, I know. So, and that was, to me, that was just, holy shit, this is just so disgusting. She had already had... Alright, so the sex that I was just talking about, that she, whoopsie-daisy had with this guy that she had to sleep in the same apartment with, that was unprotected sex, alright? That was unprotected sex. Now, that's after she had had another episode of sort of drunk, random, unprotected, irresponsible sex with another guy just like a couple of weeks ago. So you don't even know if you're pregnant or not, and then you keep sleeping around with guys you don't even like. And honestly, back in the day when I used to be a sort of desperate loser who was just too brainwashed by porn to have any sort of taste in women other than, okay, she has a vagina so I want to fuck her. Back in those days, I would probably think that, oh yeah, she's really slutty and she's really easy, so I might have a chance. Now, the only thing I can think is, fucking you, alright? And by the way, that whole night, she and her roommate and this other guy, all they talked about was sex. And they talked about how many people they've slept with. And it was like, 20 plus. And they're only my age. They're only like 19 years old. And when girls at my age have had sex with over 20 guys, it's not something to be proud of. So to me, the way I see it, alright, and a lot of people might disagree with this, okay, but the way I see it is sex. So first off, naturally in nature, condoms don't grow on trees, to say it like that. So sex is made to make babies, right? So for a woman to have sex with a man, she should, for the sake of, our species to continue growing and to make good children and not, mentally disturbed children, she should make sure that this man is not just someone that's gonna come inside of her and leave. Alright? Because technically speaking, men can do that. Because men don't need to have a baby inside of them for 9 months. So men can, technically speaking, just fuck her and leave her with a baby. Now, in order for this not to happen, the woman needs to have some sort of standards, right? She needs to make sure that this guy is someone to trust. This guy is a good man. He can take care of a baby with me. When I can't take care of the baby, he can do it. He has, a nice house, a nice habitat. He's capable of living, and he's capable of taking care of another life as well. And he will not just leave me. He cares about me, and he cares about my children. She should make sure that that's the case before she chooses to have sex with this man. Naturally speaking, that's the way I see it. Because condoms were not made by nature. And I might sound really fucking Christian saying this, but to me, sex it's an act of destruction. And not only like theoretically speaking, but also a bit physically speaking too. One fact to point out is obviously that, when a woman gets pregnant, her body sort of gets a bit destroyed for the rest of her life. She will never have this youthful, young body again. Or she can try, there's a lot of like fit moms out there, but basically your body gets a bit destroyed after you've been pregnant. So that's one thing. Another thing is, if you look at sluts that are like almost 30 years old or maybe over 30 years old, and they've been sluts for a very long period of time, you can actually see on their face that they've had a lot of cocks inside of them. And this is no bullshit. There's a term that I like to use, which is the 1,000 cock eyes. And this is not bullshit. This exists. And it's this sort of dead eyes. You can see in some women that the light in their eyes is just gone. Because they've slept with so many guys. It's just, they have no beautiful, precious femininity left. It's all been fucked away. And so, when I hear about women at my age talking about that they've slept with over 20 guys, that they keep having irresponsible drunk sex even when they're not even sure if there's a fucking baby inside of them, and they talk about that as if it's some kind of cool thing, it's vile. It's really vile. And I don't like this. I also really don't like this fucking abortion culture that, women are just so fucking irresponsible that, they can just kill a baby if they get one. I think it should be legal, but I don't think it's something that should really be done. I I don't think that abortion is a good thing. So, and also, you know, for myself, when I've come so long into NoFap that I have been coming now, I've started really appreciating my sexual energy and valuing my sexual energy. And what I mean by that is I don't want to waste my sexual energy on women who are not worth it. Meaning that I don't really want to have sex with sluts anymore. It's a thing of the past. And the reason for this is I've just I've gotten so many benefits from not coming that you know, it's like she better fucking be worth it if I'm gonna have sex. So at the end of that day, these people just kept talking about how much disgusting sex they've had, and I had only 4 beers, so like I wasn't particularly drunk, but I still threw up when I got home because the whole scenario was just so dark and disgusting. To me, it's so weird how that perspective has just changed so much. Because back in the day, all I would do I would think 2 things, alright? I would think, oh shit, I'm so jealous because they're having all this sex and I'm not, you know, having sex. I'm quite sexually unexperienced, for those who don't know. So I definitely was more sexually unexperienced before I started NoFap. So back in the day, I would think that, you know, I'm super jealous and envious of all this sex that's going on around me that I'm not taking part of. I would also think that, oh, maybe I have a chance on her because she's easy. This time, there was a sort of reaction I had at one point in that night. I listened to this conversation and I didn't want to take part of it anymore. So I really just turned my head around and I looked out the window while they were talking about their slutty sex. And I just started laughing because I didn't know how else to react. I started laughing. And so that was one reaction. That was really just a result of thinking, wow, these people clearly do not value their own bodies. They clearly do not appreciate this divine femininity that they have. And so, you would probably think, by the look of the title of this video, that this was some kind of another Fapstronaut talking about how I can see a goddess in every girl and and how porn is degrading to women and all that. In fact, it's not. I've actually started being much more judgmental to women after I've started NoFap in a very different way. I don't judge them just by their looks like I used to. I judge them, I guess, to say it in a short way, I judge them mostly by their self-respect. The thing that turns me on the most right now is probably a woman with proper self-respect. Someone that really cherishes her own body and doesn't just sleep with anyone, doesn't, you know, understands herself and appreciates her own sexuality, her own femininity. That would be, you know, the biggest thing. I don't really care about like common interests or her personality or things like that. I do care about looks still, but not as much. But I just think that self-respect and looks, it kind of goes hand in hand, because a woman who is very self-respecting will also often have a very healthy body. She will probably work out, she will probably eat very healthy, and you can see that. So it's all together, self-respect. For me, that matters the most in a woman. If a woman can have self-respect, proper self-respect, and love herself, that's what turns me on the most. And sluts do not love themselves. They are sexually delusional. They don't really understand what makes them happy. It's even statistically proven that bed hoppers are much, much more unhappy than women that are capable of finding good men and having love-based, long-term, committed relationships. They are much more happy than bed hoppers. It's statistically proven, and you don't even need to look at statistics, really. You can just look at real life and just see it. You can see what women are the most happy. You can even just see it in their eyes. Just like I talked about, the 1,000 cock eyes. Just look for it. It's real. So, yeah, that's really all I have for you guys today. Just my sort of epiphany about how much my perspective on women have just changed insanely much, and I think it's much better now because I feel like I see the truth, I guess the truth, if you can say it like that, to a bigger extent than I used to. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.